Howdy, Jesse here. Gonna go live and do a Jumbalaya on CJSF 90.1 FM and CJSF.ca in about 10 minutes, 3 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for tuning in. In the background, I just got some tracks from last week playing. This is Panteo, Hito Na. I am just gonna go through what I do to get ready and set up, as I usually do. You can see I got Serato up and running in my audio and MIDI setup. I have my Rode NT USB, my microphone set up for my mic input. I'm using it for input. Use this device for sound input. And then I've got my multi-output device, which is set up through Black Hole. That's serving as my output. So that means that my microphone's going through it and all my audio and everything. And that's feeding into Radiocast. And so Radiocast is what I am using to broadcast the stream to CJSF. And then in airtime in CJSF, we're sending that stream to the radio tower and then to the general web stream. I'll pull up airtime so you can see how that's set up. Oh, good. Always good to get a little bit of freezing going on. The beach ball, there we go. It's airtime.cjsf.ca. And you can see I've got my web stream block here. If I click on it, just hover. It won't show. But it is pointing to cjsf.ca :8000/stream. I'm not going to go there now because we'll pick it up. But that's where it is. And so I've got all my settings in here. I've got the host is cjsf.ca, the mount is stream, the port is 8000. The password is super secret, so I'm not going to show it to you. You're going to have to close your eyes in a second because I'm going to connect, but you can see this connect button here. When I click it, it'll turn red and we'll be broadcasting. So I am just going to mute the image for a second so you can't see my passwords. And you're just going to have to trust that in that time, I click that button, right? And you can see now it's red underneath there. Oh, that's the end of our Panteo. So I'm going to start the Shasta Cults. Again, I'm using Serato for most of my audio playback today. I've got a crate here. I'm going to show the prepare bin so that I've got all my stuff ready to go. I'm going to get my station ID, my show intro, which is in here somewhere. There we go, intro Jumbalaya. And I also am going to get my first song ready. And that song is Woolworm, I believe. Let's see, what do I have going first? Oh no, I have Dead Soft kicking things off. Actually, I should make it Woolworm because I'll make this transition a little easier. So then I'm going to play Woolworm from Bandcamp, from the browser, because we have this album physically at the station, but not on the digital library. So I'm going to play the song Hold the Bow. So I'm just getting that loaded up. So even though I'm broadcasting here, I am streaming, you can see. I'm currently not sending any of my vocals because I don't have this toggled on. If I turn it on, you'll be able to hear me. See, there goes my voice. La 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 la. But it's not being broadcast to the air because we're still playing the previous song in airtime. If I were to navigate, or if you were to navigate right now to cjsf.ca :8000/stream, you would hear what I'm broadcasting now and not the CJSF feed, because this is a sort of a secondary feed, basically. Make sure you join the CJSF volunteers group. If you're a CJSF volunteer, you can message me. And I'll get you in, cjsfpa@sfu.ca. Just keeping an eye on my time here. The other thing I want to have is just a little bit of a buffer, because it doesn't always... Just put money. There's a bit of a delay between, or a lag, more accurately, between me and the studio. So it's always good to just have something playing in the background before we start, so that if there's any silence, it's accounted for, right? So this will end a bit before the top of the hour. I'll get, oh, that's not ready. I gotta move that around. I moved it. Music, tracks will go orange in Serato if you have moved them from the location that the files were in when you originally added them to Serato. I did some rearranging, and so I need to just re-add a couple things. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Helen Money, Many Arms. Probably right in front of my face. No? Well. Okay, then we're just gonna pick this one instead. Test card. Go up here. Okay, so we're about 2 minutes out. Just double check everything's good to go. Turn that microphone off. And then I just want to have this clock in airtime visible as well, because that's my actual ready to go countdown. As usual, I got my playlist made in DJ Land ahead of time, just to save myself having to double up and do work at the same time. Set that, oops. Probably talk about 10 minutes. We'll see. Save that draft. This Shasta Cults is really cool. Sort of like hardware synthesizer experimentation. Check it out. Most of the music I'm playing today is available through the CJSF Plex, but okay, let's go back. And I have downloaded it onto my computer to play through airtime, but the rest I'm playing through Bandcamp, and I'm actually going to play a song through Tidal as well, because I have a Tidal account. Yeah, so we're going to have about 30 seconds of overlap here, so let's just get some ambience going. This test card is very ambient, so it'll be good as our wait until we're live on air music, which is only about 12 seconds now, so here we go. So we're going. So I am going to get my intro ready. But that has moved. Oops. Get that in there, and we'll just... shoot. I wanted to do the remotely produced first, but oh well. Let's get into it. Hey, hi, hello. I am Jesse Wensloff, host of this Jumbalaya on CJSF 90.1 FM Burnaby, broadcasting remotely from my living room, but also from Burnaby, British Columbia, on the ancestral occupied territories of the Musqueam, Coquitlam, Tsleil-Waututh, and others. Sorry, just trying to get all of my things lined up to bring you this Jumbalaya, a mix of new music, as has become tradition every Wednesday from my living room, a tent created out of blankets and prayers to my neighbors that they don't continue with their daily construction activities. So, glad that you're out there with me today. I have a bunch of new music to share. A good chunk of it is from the CJSF playlist, the new music that we receive and continue to receive in these times, most of it digital these days, so that we can send it around and listen to it. But I'm also going to play some stuff sort of from my own collection, so to speak. But most of that is from a exciting new compilation put together by local artists Apollo Ghosts, who are sort of godparents of Vancouver's independent music scene. They put together a record with a bunch of covers of local artists and are releasing it free and donating money to charity for every download. So we're going to dive into that, see if I can get you to go out and make a download and maybe even a donation yourself. And just lots of cool new music. So the first thing I'm going to do, just to sort of set the scene for the compilation, so to speak, is play a couple of the artists featured on the covers compilation, but play some of their originals. So what I'm going to do is play a track by one of my all-time favorite local Vancouver bands called Dead Soft. They were on one of the first guests on the Vancouver Mixtape, which is my other show that focuses exclusively on Vancouver and Vancouver area artists. And they're originally from Vancouver Island and then sort of the Nanaimo area, moved back here, grinded it out in the scene for several years, and then, released a series of EPs and then put out their self-titled debut on Kingfisher Blues. Worked them around on local labels, did a bunch of touring, and then hit it big, so to speak, signing with Arts and Crafts, the biggest Canadian indie label, home of Broken Social Scene and other Canadian indie legends. So very excited for them. They put out an EP called New Emotion previously with Arts and Crafts. That was their first release, and then they put out this new record, Big Blue, which came out late last year, late 2019. And it's great. The track I'm going to play for you is called The Static. It comes in the middle of their record, Big Blue. And the core of Dead Soft is Nathaniel and Keely, who are a couple both in songwriting and romantically. And generally, Nathaniel is the main voice. Most of the songs are written sort of through him. He sings, and Keely has written bass parts and backup vocals and parts of songs and stuff. But this track, The Static, features Keely as the main voice, and I'm going to play it for you. I know that's a little bit of a weird introduction to a band that we're then going to hear covered because it's not the main singer/songwriter, but hey, this is what happens. This is from their newest record, Big Blue, Dead Soft, The Static. Bit of a mix-up there, as I did not have the audio channel enabled while I started Serato, because I'm trying to eliminate this weird voice doubling thing that's happening. Anyway, I'll have to be more on the ball for that next time. Just had a couple seconds of dead air, no big deal. And after all that talk about playing Woolworm first, because it would be easier to transition, I I called an audible and went with dead soft because I had a story to tell. So instead, I think what we're going to do is the non-la and then the woolworm, because I also have a story to tell about woolworm. Yeah. So next will be Light in My Loafers by non-la. And non-la, I mean, I have a story to tell about all of these bands. The benefits of hosting a Vancouver-centric music show for a decade, I guess. But non-la used to be this, like, experimental hard noise 1/2 person rock group. Like, can't show you any of that right now without playing it through the radio as well. But if you go back into the non-la collection back from 2015, this record Zero, it is not at, it's like a totally different band, but it's great. I love the growth, and part of it is DJ On has talked about just becoming comfortable enough to write pop songs about himself and coming to terms with his sexuality. And I mean, maybe not coming to terms with his sexuality, but his openness about his sexuality in his music. Yeah. So when I play the audio, the music straight through the browser here, I don't have any direct control over the volume level. So I'm going to have to be a lot more diligent with my mixer here and with the volume control here to make sure I don't peak too much. So that's going to be, well, it'll be fine, but something to keep an eye on. Oops, make sure I don't play the old stuff. The next bit's going to be a little more tough to manage because I got this playing in this tab, and then I'm going to have to go over to here. So that'll be the next exciting bit here. Oh, I know what I could do. There you go. I am going to play an ID through Serato in between, just to give myself a short little buffer. That's why they pay me the big bucks. You're listening to CJSF 90.1 FM in Burnaby, British Columbia. I think that was pretty solid, right? Recording of myself singing it on Station ID. Yeah. This is Woolworm. also titans of the local scene. Probably like most Vancouver bands' favorite Vancouver band, Woolworm. This album art, designed by former CJSF music coordinator Katayoun, Yusef Biglu. Look at that. Love it. She makes music under a number of pseudonyms. Other Jesus was her old band. Puzzlehead is sort of her single or solo project. She's got a new one called Big City. Hold the Bow by Woolworm from their new record, Awe. One of my favorite records that came out last year. That song made the top 10 songs released by Vancouver artists episode of the Vancouver Mixtape. Woolworm are one of my favorite local bands, and I think the same holds true for a lot of musicians and other artists within the scene. Woolworm holds a special place in a lot of their hearts. The new record also features album art designed by former CJSF music coordinator Katayoun Yusef Biglu. So another reason to check out the record. Just a big fan. And it turns out so are Apollo Ghosts. We're going to turn now to the aforementioned compilation that I was talking about. It is called Local Delivery Only. And it's just it's a collection of 35 covers recorded by Apollo Ghosts. In their words, these are covers of some of our favorite local artists. The album is free to download, and every time that the album is downloaded between April 23rd to 30th, so that's this week, until Friday, Apollo Ghost is going to donate $1 to the Downtown Eastside Response fundraiser. You can find out more about that at dtesresponse.ca. That's dtesresponse.ca. So I'm going to play you a selection of tracks from this compilation from Local Delivery Only, and it's going to be the three artists, or covers of the three artists you just heard. So the first track we heard in that last set, and the first track you heard during this episode of Jumbalaya on CJSF, was The Static by Dead Soft from their record Big Blue. After that was Light in My Loafers by Non La off the fantastic debut record Not in Love. which came out on February 14th, Valentine's Day. And then you heard Hold the Bow by Woolworm. And next, you're going to hear Apollo Ghost's version of Hold the Bow by Woolworm. That's fun, right? The other two tracks are then covers of a Dead Soft song called Everything, and another song off of that record, Not in Love, by Non-Law, called Go Out, Stay In. So this is all Apollo Ghosts covering in order Woolworm, Dead Soft, and Non-Law. Actually, we'll go Woolworm, Non-Law, Dead Soft. That's super confusing. Don't worry. I'll recap it again at the end. For now, this is Hold the Bow by Woolworm as performed by Apollo Ghosts for charity.
I see beauty when I close.
Whew. There's a lot of talking. I'll let you listen to this cover because it's great.
You and I, so I lean and I let you be you.
Whoops, sorry folks. Forgot to turn the music channel on. So let's start again with Hold the Bow by Woolworm featuring, Hold the Bow. Oh, I am sorry folks, just a bit of technical difficulties there. Forgot to turn the right channels on. So we'll turn again now to Hold the Bow by Woolworm as performed by Apollo Ghosts.
I see beauty when I close my
Whoopsie doopsie. Turn your channels on. Don't get distracted talking. That's the danger. Getting too comfortable pretending I'm in the real studio.
Could be the last thing I see, but I know it's the truth. I'm not sure.
But the world goes on.
I wanna run wild anymore.
The beauty of community radio.
Just wanna trust somebody good. They exist, I know. Hold the bow. There are those who might ask why someone sings as if there's ever any reason for anything.
Hello to those of you tuning in just in time to see me mess up.
Beat you down until you're stoned. They'll continue to spin, that's just fine. I don't need you to be mine. Just to know that you exist is enough to know. Hold the bow. Rightfully we oppose reality, and that's how we're going to be until we're old and alone. And alone. Hold the bow. Hold the bow.
Oops.
Go on, tell me everything that you've been thinking about. Go on, tell me every reason why I have not been out. As if you know why I don't go out of my place into your space.
This is Non-Law again. Well, Apollo Ghost playing Non-Law off of this record that we just played a track off of. Look at that. This track appropriately titled Go Out, Stay In. Come on. Is there a better song for the times?
Go out, stay in.
You can, once again, download this apologhost.bandcamp.com. You can go to dtesresponse.ca. to support COVID-19 rapid response efforts. This track by Dead Soft goes back a long time. It's on this record, their debut. But I believe it's also on their first EP. No? It came out on something else. Maybe it was just a single kicking around for a long time. Anyway. One of the things that makes this compilation so great is just the breadth of the tracks and eras covered. Like, there's everything from Old Destroyer and Cub from the 90s and early 2000s all the way up to tracks from records this year, and shows a really cool familiarity and love of the local music scene. So much recommended. I'm gonna just say all that again on the radio in a minute and 27 seconds. Everything by Dead Soft, as covered by Apollo Ghosts on the new compilation Local Delivery Only, which is available free on Bandcamp. And for every download between now and Friday, Apollo Ghosts will be downloading $1 to the Downtown Eastside Response Fundraiser, which is a fundraiser looking to support COVID-19 rapid response efforts for the people at risk in Vancouver's downtown east side. Definitely a worthy cause, and I mean, all you have to do is download a great record for free. So seems kind of win-win. Big ups to Apollo Ghosts for putting this together, because it's great. It shows a real love of Vancouver's independent music scene and a real familiarity with Vancouver's independent music scene. There's tracks by artists, obscure artists and more well-known artists, what OK Vancouver, OK Gal Grayson, to Destroyer and Jay Arner and Cub and Lightning Dust and Japan Droids. It's just really all over the place, and just really shows, like I said, a love for Vancouver's independent music scene. I can't recommend it enough. I had a really, really nice afternoon over the weekend, just sitting on the balcony and listening to this record and doing a little bit of gardening. It was a nice little reprieve from these crazy times we find ourselves in. I'm Jesse. This is Jumbalaya on CJSF 90.1 FM Burnaby, broadcasting from my strange chamber constructed out of blankets and a kitchen rolling rack that serves as our desk, in a slightly different position than the last time I broadcast, because I also have spent the endless quarantined hours rearranging the inside of my apartment with my partner Katie. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed that Apollo Ghosts. I can't recommend it enough. I would play more of it, but this is Jumbalaya, and I gotta focus on new music from the playlist. I'm happy to do so. Help some bands get out there on the charts, and help you discover some new music. So let's get into it. Maybe you've heard of Caribou. Probably you've heard of Caribou if you're into Canada's independent music. Caribou have been sort of a fixture for the last decade or so, releasing sort of series of evolving albums that went from sort of like Beatles adoring maximalism to really minimal house to sort of like synth pop or like 80s synth rock a little bit. And now Caribou's Dan Snaith has released an album that is kind of a synthesis of all of those things in one way or another. It's called Suddenly, and the track I want to play for you is called Home. This record features a lot of sort of hip-hop style sampling, which is sort of a new trick for Caribou, although there has been a lot of sampling and sampled sounds in the mix up to this point. But this feels a little different. I mean, I was going to listen to this record suddenly anyway because I'm a Caribou fan, but the podcast Song Exploder did a in-depth examination of this track Home, featuring Caribou's Dan Snaith breaking it down and talking about the samples and everything, and so that has made this track stick in my brain a little bit better. It is called Home. It's by Caribou from the new record Suddenly, and you're listening to it on CJSF 90.1 FM Burnaby. Sticking me up.
She does just what she pleases, 'cause she's happy on her own, and she picks up all the pieces. She's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Thanks for watching the stream, folks. Yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's something that people say on these streams, right? I'm doing one of these every week. You can come back, check that out. Otherwise, we got lots of videos on the channel. You can go to YouTube. Let's see what's on the CJSF YouTube. I can see them live right now, obviously. Oops, gotta clean that up. But we got our Rudinalis Studio 6 live session. That premiered on Friday. A couple more of these. And then a whole bunch of Studio 6 videos. You know, waste some time. Spend some time productively, I mean. You can watch these live performances. Some of them feature interviews by me. A lot of them feature camera work by me. No big deal. Alright.
to talk about something that I don't believe in. LOVE, can you tell me what's the meaning? I've been dreaming. How on earth is you that deceitful? I didn't see it. Hard for me to paint the picture, you'll just have to meet him. Gave my all to you, wanted to get more to you. Should have been honest with yourself.
This is Little Sims, London rapper, as you can tell by the accent.
Should've known better, mommy taught me better strategy. Still it burns, guess it's a blessing and a curse. Life goes on, it's another lesson learned. Mind switched on, you can hear it in a verse, right? But you will never know how much it really hurts. Images so vivid, so clear. Oh my dear, you have no idea who I know here. Think fast, be on your A game. Silly for me to think we was on the same page. You really don't know anybody these days. She stays for his sake, a sweet face.
It's from the record Gray Area, which came out last year.
Did well to convince me that you're so different. Give someone an inch and they will take a mile. It might take a while. Now I see you've approached this in a faker style. This must be the apocalypse, feels like the world's ending. Who am I? I'm a mess, more sinning, more spending. More down days trying to make it through the 7th. Can't believe I almost got rid of my independence. Type of endings will have you look at yourself and start second guessing. Now I'm on crud like this will get messy if you ever get to testing. But really I'm a sensitive soul and I'll stress it. What happens when someone takes advantage of that? Lost part of myself and I can't get her back.
All night long, I've been waiting.
This whole record is really good. I had a hard time picking one track.
All night long, I've been investigating if you ain't found new love.
How do you get twang since you're smarter than that? But you don't see it when you're in it, that's the hardest of facts. I can't relax, my heart racing. Remember when I heard the news, I just couldn't face it. If we ever talk again, it's on a last name basis. I know where to place you. I'm just trying to understand it, I don't wanna hate you. Guess you had to do what you had to do. But just know, nobody rates you. Key word in all of this is you. I wonder what I did for me, I hardly remember me. What a waste of chemistry, energy and empathy. Wonder when you plan to let me know about her pregnancy. You have no integrity, emotional respect for me. Clearly wasn't meant to be. This was temporary, this the clearest I've seen. It was bound to end eventually. Still it hurts tremendously.
Showing my hand a little bit, but I also want to play a track off this Fiona Apple record. Really good, as the whole world knows. Still don't know which one though, so I might just get frisky and go random, but we'll see.
I kept quiet about the situation, but now I'm saying my piece though. Not a loss for evidence, me acting like I didn't know. I can't do relationships for Instagram, posing like my life is perfect. Really it's the opposite. Lately I've been down a lot. I talk to no one about it, can't even write about it. Down this writer's block, hitting me like never before. Still a record, been in the raw smoking just to take my mind all off everything that I should have been mindful.
I gotta get that show promo in, so I'm gonna play that next. Between the two of these, shouldn't make a big difference.
Please don't listen to this and ask me if I'm hurting or if I'm okay. Allow me to be human and be in my feels. Chill, I'm good, I got it. I never lost it. Or am I just lying to myself to skip the topic? La 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 la. La 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 la. La la.
I've been waiting for you to run back home. All night long, I've been investigating if you ain't found new love. All night long, I've been waiting for you to run back home. All night long.
So we're right here. See what we'll get to.
I don't mind if it sounds really sketchy. I kind of want it to sound really collagey and sketchy. So, okay. Yeah, I'll give you more. I'll give you more. I come from the mountain, from CJSF 90.1 FM, broadcasting from Burnaby Mountain, from the top of Burnaby Mountain. the show where the music department of CJSF takes you through some of the new releases, sound, music, discussions, all the new releases, music and albums, music, all the new sounds and sounds.
I always play the weird chopped up promo for I Come From the Mountain on this Wednesday Jumbalaya because Ricky puts on a great show.
CJSF.ca every Friday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
It's my third week in a row playing something from this Lido Pimienta record, Miss Colombia, because it's great. So go listen to it. In CJSF music director Ricky's opinion, maybe even better than her previous Players Prize winning record, so can't say I disagree. I'll warn you though, when this one hits, it hits. Tricks you into thinking it's going to be soft. There are at least 3 of you watching right now. Welcome.
Pero no me falles, me duele. No exagero cuando te digo. Pero no me falles, me duele. No exagero cuando. No exagero cuando. Eso que tú haces. Eso que tú haces. Eso que tú haces.
I told you. I warned you.
No es amor. No es amor. Hoy comprendí, sentada en tu arena.
You can see that there's a radio edit of this song. It's a whole 31 seconds shorter. That's not the one I'm playing, because that's not how we do things on CJSF. Just play the regular version of the song, you know? I'll play a censored version or a clean version, like I did with Little Sims, because it is the radio, but... Oh, this is weird and long, right up my alley.
Pero no me ignores, me duele. No exagero cuando te digo. Pero no me ignores, me hieres. No exagero cuando. No exagero cuando. Eso que tú haces. Eso que tú haces. Eso que tú haces. No es amor. No es amor.
Oh, I guess I should get my next already.
Eso que tú haces. Eso que tú
Eso que tú haces. That what you do. by Lido Pimienta from the new record Miss Colombia here on Jumbalaya on CJSF 90.1 FM Burnaby, campus community radio from Simon Fraser University. I am Jesse, broadcasting from my home out up to the mountain and then back down to you. Yeah, you just heard a bunch of music. That was, as I mentioned, Lido Pimienta from her new record Miss Colombia, which is fantastic, just came out. Every song is great. I think this is the third week in a row that I played a track off of that record. Before that was an artist who is new to me, Little Sims. That track, Sherbert's Sunset, off the record Grey Area. Also just a fantastic record, start to finish. British rapper who has made a name for herself with that record, Grey Area. Love it. And then kicking that set off, Suddenly by Caribou is the record. The track itself was Home. And now we're going to take a bit of a spin into some music that is also on the playlist. But, I only really started doing jambalayas again after a long time of not doing them when this sort of work from home, station closure, COVID-19 pandemic kicked in. So there's a lot of artists who I've been, I hear their names, they put out new records, but because my other show, the Vancouver Mixtape, is very local focused, there's some artists who I admittedly have slept on, who I've been late to the game on. And one of those artists is Jay Som. Put out a record called Anak Ko and has been just putting out great music for a little bit. And I have a lot of friends who are all over this record that I just didn't get to until I was prepping for this show. So I'm excited to be able to play a track for you called Tenderness. And it's great. So enjoy. Got the order right that time. Turn the channel on, push play, mute the mic. Now listen to this.
Tell me, did you fall in at first glance? Do you think you'll take a chance? Do you think on the weekend I could know? Show me before you haunt me on the screen. Will my affection pull the strings? Another forgotten memory. We've built.
Spoiler alert, look at the waveform. Things are gonna pop off.
I just know that feeling like we just begun. Nothing to good now. Tenderness is all we've got. Feeling like we just begun. Nothing to good now. Tenderness is all we've got.
So you've seen throughout some of the difficulties or pitfalls of Ladiocast, this program that I'm using to stream. Mainly just that you have to remember to turn things off and on, which when you're moving through multiple programs can be easy to forget, even for myself, and I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with the whole setup. So it definitely takes some practice. And just confidence to do it. I know if you're used to doing radio in the studio, at some point you've had to just sort of jump in and sink or swim live on air. that's sort of what we're doing here. So. So as you might have sseen there, I was just deleting some tracks from my playlist. I don't think we're going to have time to play the Yep that I have here. Where'd we go? Yep. Julian. It's kind of weird prog rock, kind of like classic, yes, inspired prog rock by some local folks, but I don't think we're going to get there. I think I'm just going to do this Black Belt Eagle Scout, then Fiona Apple, and then a track by Coche Mea. Coche Mea? I should figure that out before I go live on air. Look at this handy tool. I was so confident. Based on the nickname Cheme, I'm gonna assume it's Coche Mea. Yeah. We'll find out. I don't know how we'll find out. Someone will tell me. I'll look it up. So one of the secrets of radio that you learn in radio school is that the playlist is largely determined, especially as you get closer to the top of the hour, as they call it, the last 10, 15 minutes of the show. It's all dictated by song length, because you want to get as close to timing out perfectly as you can. I'm not quite as stuck on that as a commercial radio station would be, but I am going to try to play music as close to the 4 o'clock as I can, right? So I'm looking at the lengths of these Fiona Apple songs. I know I want to play, for sure, I want to play, where'd it go? The Coche Mea. Coche Mea. And this is about 5 minutes long, I believe. Let's just see what it tells us. 6 minutes long. So I'm going to have 4. So this is going to go to 51. So I only really have 2 or 3 minutes for Fiona Apple, which I might just talk instead of playing, to be honest, because, yeah, you know what? No Fiona Apple. Well, no, I don't really. Okay, we'll do one of the shorter songs. Let's do Drum Set. Make sure my volume's all the way up here.
The drum set is gone and the rug it was on is still here screaming at me. Why did you take it all away? Why
did you take it all away? The dialing of the phone is no longer fun since you've been done with me, and you don't wanna talk with me at all. Why'd you take it all away?
This album's crazy. It's like the genres are so all over the place, but it's all so catchy. It's all so good. Check it out. I know everyone's saying it, but like, they're right.
You're a man, and you got to get what you want, how you want it, but so do I, and I wanted to try. Why did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away? Why did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away? Why did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away? Why did you not want to try? Why did you take it all away? 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 Why did you take it all away?
The background has shifted a little bit from last time. It's not 100% Go Riders Go like it used to be. There's a white blanket. I know. I want rider pride all the way, but gotta be pragmatic sometimes.
And the dialing of the phone is no longer fun since you've been done with me, and you don't wanna talk with me at all. Why'd you take it all away? I did nothing wrong. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe your reasoning. Now I understand you're a human and you got to lie, you're a man, and you got to get.
I'm gonna have to be a little tricky here to end this before things come back. Working in multiple programs again. Oh, I'm just muted here. Drum Set by Fiona Apple from the new record Fetch the Bolt Cutters, which is receiving universal acclaim across the entire globe, with good reason. It's great. Definitely check it out. Once again, that song, Drum Set, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, Fiona Apple. Before that, Run It To You by Black Belt Eagle Scout, and before that, Tenderness by Jay Som from the record Enek Co. Go check it out. This is it for me on Jumbalaya. I'm Jesse. I'll be back next week. I'm also on the radio tomorrow morning for Speak Up, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. if you want more of a talk-centric broadcast. And otherwise, just stick around to CJSF to find out what's going out on the world, get a bit of a distraction, etc., etc. Now, because it is the only thing that is appropriate, the best way to end the show is a track by Koche Mea, which is called Song of Happiness. So see you next time, folks, and enjoy the Song of Happiness. Right? I mean, just close your eyes and listen to this and drift off somewhere. I'm going to load one more track up at the end just to give us that buffer that I had at the beginning. So what I've done there is I've thrown my next track up in here. I'm going to use the same ambience I was using at the beginning, and thankfully Serato just reminds exactly where I was in it. And then I threw my fader all the way over to this track so that when the time comes, I can just start this and then slowly fade in, because this is right in the middle of the song. Right? Cool. So it's 3:57. I am just going to pull back to airtime to see what my clocks are pretty good. I know that I got another 2.5 minutes. This is going to go for longer than that, so I probably won't even need this. Problem solved. Caps lock. Is there a better description for this music than mesmerizing and spiritually ascendant instrumentation? Come on. Way to go, promo team. So, we're off air on the radio now. Obviously, going to love this stellar track finish. But thanks for watching. I'm just going to wrap things up here. It's mostly just pushing stop on everything. But at this point, Airtime has automatically booted my feed, and it's playing this episode of Alternative Radio. So that's easy on my part. The final sort of step to stop broadcasting so that someone else can get on and do the same thing is just to go into Ladiocast and disconnect. So I am going to pull up my Icecast window and then just click the connect button once again, disconnect. Oops. I clicked it a couple of times so it connected, reconnected. There you can see it's not broadcasting anymore. And we're done, basically. I will show you how this worked. Remember, I was going to fade into this. Instead of just having it start like that. Pretty minor change, but you can see. Just a little nicer, you know? Anyway, thanks for coming. coming. Thanks for watching the web stream. Hopefully that answers any questions you might have. It probably doesn't, so if you have them, you can send them to me, cjsfpa@sfu.ca. Remember to hop into the CJSF volunteer private Facebook group. Oops, sorry, Jordan, your name is exposed. And yeah, jump into this group, request to join, and you'll get video links to more of these videos, links to job opportunities, links to other people's content, all sorts of stuff. It's been really useful for people getting through this weird time and staying active within the CJSF community. So check that out. If you want more info on any of the technology that I'm using, Serato, Ladiocast, the audio MIDI setup thing, the black hole, any of that, you can go to in the comments down below, in the video description down below, there are a couple links to our wiki, which is sites.google.com/site/cjsfwiki. On the COVID-19 page there, we've got a bunch of links to producing a music show from home, producing from home, that have links to these videos, a bunch of links to software, and then some walkthroughs how to do everything. So we want you to be able to participate in whatever way is possible, and however we can make that work, we're going to do. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.